Hey guys, Carrie-Anne for Jessica Jones, Season 1, Episode 3, aka It's Called Whiskey, and holy shit was this episode great. I mean, seriously, another amazing episode, by far the best of the three. This episode was just, it had so much packed into it. There was humor, there was some really shocking twists, there were some awesome action sequences. It just really had everything I love about the show, and I feel like from here on out, every episode is just gonna get better and better and better, and I can't wait. Let's just get into this episode. Definitely looking forward to it after the twist in the last one. And this starts right off from that. We start right off from where Luke told Jessica that he is an Inhuman. And rather than Jessica, thinking about it or being like, okay, that's interesting, they strip off their clothes and they have sex randomly. He pins her against the wall. She pushes him. They continue ripping each other's pants off until they're having sex against the wall. And it's a pretty funny scene because the neighbor tells them they're too loud. Jessica slams the door on him. You can definitely tell that this actually means something to Jessica. Like the first time they had sex, it really meant nothing to her, but here it actually kind of means something. And over dinner, Jessica tells Luke that she's never done it with someone else who is gifted. That's why she wanted to do it, because I think the reason these sexual encounters have never meant anything to her is because they're not like her. She always thought she was the only Inhuman around. Now, that's very interesting. In this episode, we kind of you see that Jessica kind of always thought she was the only Inhuman, and now she knows she's not. And her finding someone else, that's always made her want to have sex with that person. So she asks how unbreakable he is, and he says he doesn't. No one doesn't want to find out, and she suggests biting his fingers, but he tells her not to bite anything off his, and they discuss how they got their powers, and it's a really interesting scene. I really love this scene. We realize that they weren't born this way. Jessica says it was an accident, but Luke says that it was, now, Jessica's saying it was an accident. I'm interested in seeing how exactly this all came about. I like that they haven't revealed how Jessica got her powers. That's something that, right away, series do. This series has it. This series has not told us, and it really shows how much of a superhero this show, how much of a Marvel show this show isn't. Because, most Marvel shows, they show you right away how they got their powers. They show you everywhere before, but no, that's the thing I like about this is, like I said, she already has her powers. We just don't know how, and it's really interesting. So, Luke says he protects himself and what's his because he's a hero. Being a hero only puts a target on your back. And Jessica says she once tried to be a hero, and Luke hopes she still is a costume, and he gives her points for trying, and he's kind of the first person, I think, that's actually really credited her for doing something great. I mean, Trish has too, but since he's an Inhuman, it means something more to her. She suggests they leave, and they have sex again, but this time they break the bed. I thought that was pretty funny. They broke the bed, and she tells him to keep going anyway. That was really funny. So, I really love that opening scene. I really do love these two, and you can definitely tell that there's definitely probably going to be a romance between these two. I definitely see Jessica and Luke starting a romance, and I think it's definitely going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. So, and by the way, guys, this is by far the most we've seen of Luke out of any episode. Like, we saw a lot of him in the second episode, but here, he's just as important as Jessica right now. So, in the bathroom, we see she looks at the woman's photo again, and we finally realize why she's so concerned about this woman's photo. And Luke closes the medicine cabinet, and we realize that this woman died. And Jessica apologizes, leaves shortly after. I'm only to assume this was either Luke's wife or his girlfriend, and I really feel it's not something we're really going to touch upon till we get to Luke Cage, which is something I like. If you guys were upset they didn't really touch upon this, I'm pretty sure they're going to wait till Luke Cage to really show what happened to, this person, who she was, what's going on with her. That really makes me excited for it, and that's one of the reasons I love that we have Luke Cage on here, because right now everything's in Jessica's eyes. We are only finding out what Jessica knows, and I think that's really good the way they did that. So Jessica goes to a convenience store, and we see this radio references the Avengers, which I thought was awesome the way they did that. Also, Luke referenced the Avengers when he talked about how, are there more like the great, I didn't think there were more than the green guy and us, and of course he's talking about the Hulk, and I thought that was really cool the way they did that, kind of setting up Defenders. I think it's really cool the way they did that. So, we see callers are skeptical of the stories, and Jessica's frustrated to hear a caller complain about Hope's Kilgrave story being mocked. They don't think it's true, and obviously she does know it's true. So Jessica drinks back at her office apartment. She listens to a news report about Hope saying she should be laughed at for her claim of being controlled by someone, and she searches for information about the chemicals and prints a list of New York City hospitals, and she wonders, even if the devil did make you do something horrible, could people forgive you, or could you forgive yourself? Because, the whole devil made me do it, that's known as, just ridiculous, or just a poor excuse, and I like that Jessica's saying that what if the devil did actually make you do it? Can you forgive yourself? Did you set yourself up for it? Because obviously, it's clear that Hope didn't want to do this. I don't think she did, at least. I think Hope was basically forced to do this and coerced to do this by Kilgrave, and I think it's very interesting the way that Jessica said that. So Jessica barges into Jerry's office, demands she make Hope look better in the public eye, and Jerry reveals that she wants Jessica to testify about being one of Kilgrave's victims. And Hope told her, and yes, Hope did tell her pretty much everything going on, and Jessica obviously is really pissed because she didn't want anyone to really find out about Kilgrave, and because obviously she doesn't want Kilgrave to know that she's still out there. So Jerry likes winning cases, and Jessica's story will help, but Jessica doesn't want to testify. She doesn't want people to know about Kilgrave, and Jerry tells Jessica if she finds other people who Kilgrave affected, she won't have to because they can. So Jessica leaves, gets a text message on the way out, which makes her smile, and it's Luke, and he says that he bought a new bed, and she calls Trish. Now, this was very interesting. The scene between Trish and Jessica was very interesting here. Because Trish and Jessica get out of the elevator at Trish's apartment, and Jessica wants Trish to tell her audience that mind control is real, but Trish says she can't do that on the radio. And, because she wants people to know that this is real, what he's doing. This isn't fake. And the topic changes to hiding from Kilgrave, which Jessica says she's not doing. She refuses to hide from Kilgrave, and Jessica starts to leave and reveals that she needs drugs to subdue Kilgrave's powers. Now, that's very interesting. And also, Trish says that Jessica's getting substance abuse help, apparently, so that also hinted that maybe she had problems with drugs before. So, again, we still don't know how Jessica's met her end as far as being a superhero, but this was a very interesting plan. The way she was getting at drugs to subdue his powers is very interesting. And Trish is intended and brings Jessica inside, and Jessica plans to steal the drugs, and Trish takes her lawn sleeves off and reveals some bruises, and Jessica's angered by the marks and asks where they came from, wondering if her mom is back in town. So this kind of hints that Trish might have some mommy issues, which is very interesting that we found that out. That she might have some mommy issues, and that something happened with her mom. We don't really know what that's about, but that's very interesting. I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen with that. So Trish shows Jessica where she trains, and we realize that this is the room. This used to be Jessica's room, where where Trish trains now. That's where Jessica's room used to be, and she hip tosses Jessica onto the mat before going to make them sandwiches. And Jessica obviously is upset because, again, she doesn't want Trish to fight. She wants to do this on her own. And now it kind of makes sense, because obviously if Trish was abused by her mom, I feel like Jessica doesn't want her to suffer anymore. Just little hints like that I really like. So Jessica sits in a doctor's office. The doctor questions what she's doing there, and Jessica says she needs surgical anesthesia, and the doctor tells her to get out. Jessica uses leverage that she can help the doctor's divorce, in which the opposition is powerful shark of a lawyer, who Jessica can convince to charge her mind. But the doctor isn't convinced, so Jessica explains that she needs the drugs to stop a killer, and the doctor writes a prescription for antipsychotic for Jessica. So this is very smart, the way she's doing this. I have to say, her plan overall was very, very smart here. So Jessica enters another hospital, debates on knocking out the 2, 3, now 4 doctors she would have to get past, and now a guard. So she was going to, but decides otherwise and walks back to the street. She doesn't want to hurt them, because they didn't do anything wrong. But of course, she doesn't want them to know too much about Kilgrave, and she doesn't want Kilgrave getting into their head, so she wants to knock them out as well, which I thought was a pretty smart idea. She just let them live. So Jessica sees a man fall off his bike, and it's Malcolm's fault, and we get a lot more into Malcolm in this episode. Malcolm seemed like he was just going to be a comedic character. This episode proves that there's going to be a lot more to him than we thought, and I really like that. I like that the show takes who we think are going to be secondary characters and makes them full-fledged characters. It's really cool the way they did that. So Biker starts lecturing Malcolm on how he cares about the planet, and Malcolm is an idiot, and Jessica pushes him off of him and justifies her strength with pilots. And basically, back at the office, 2 men knock on the door and ask Jessica if she's ready for her estimate to fix the door, and one man who doesn't speak English hands Jessica an estimate with a decimal in the wrong place, and the other man tells her it's not a charity, it's a business, and she tells him to fix the door tomorrow, and she still wants to get that door fixed. I don't know if she's ever going to get that door fixed. I feel like this entire season, she's going to try to get that door fixed, it's not going to work out for her, which I think is pretty funny. It keeps the show interesting, so I like that. So she tells them to fix the door tomorrow. Trish calls Jessica to tell her that they're going to do a live show with Hope, and Jessica hates the idea. She doesn't want people to know about Hope. She doesn't want Hope to get hurt, and she has a memory of Luke's wife falling before coming back to her phone call. Now, this is interesting. I'm kind of thinking that Jessica knew Luke's wife, and that's why she broke down. So, who was Luke's wife? I mean, clearly Jessica knows her, because why else should she have these memories? It's not like she can get memories of things she never had, so Clearly, she knows Luke's wife, and this was very interesting. How does she know her? I don't know, but she knows her. So she goes back to her phone call, and at the bar, Jessica and Luke greet each other. Jessica asks if he knows any drug dealers, and she tells him she needs Sudafed, Sufentylenol, and it seems like they're just going to talk about drugs. But then they have sex again. It seems like every time they're going to meet up, they're going to have sex, which I think is pretty funny, actually. It's a good joke. You know, it sounds stupid, but it works well for this show just because of Jessica's character. I thought it was pretty funny here. And I like when he says the words, he says, which I believe is Luke Cage's catchphrase, "Sweet Christmas," and Jessica agrees. And he tells her to say it back, and he asks if whatever she isn't saying is a racial slur, but he's kidding, and then asks again. I love that he asked again. I thought that was pretty funny. Luke Cage is hilarious, I have to say. A lot of his lines in this episode were very funny. Jessica looks away from him before asking about this thing that they have, and she's referring to their abilities. She wants to know if there's someone else out there, and his ability was to control people. And he asks this about Hope's case, which the cops asked him about, and Luke thinks that she's nuts. But Jessica asks him if he believes in Hope, if her belief in Hope's story would change his mind. But he would only believe that she believed. You know, he doesn't know what's going on with Kilgrave, obviously. So he justifies it by saying his unbreakable skin is visible and can be felt while minds can't be seen. And Jessica claims to know what he's thinking, and she moves closer, tells him she thinks he knows what she's thinking. Then they have sex again. Again, they have sex. They have sex 4 times in this episode. 4 times. I'm not kidding. Pretty funny stuff. But interesting that she hasn't told Luke about Kilgrave, because you think that she would tell him. You think that it would be the best bet to tell him, but he's really the only person at this point that doesn't know about Kilgrave. Her boss knows about Kilgrave, Hope knows about Kilgrave, Trish knows about Kilgrave. Luke is the only one that doesn't know about Kilgrave. Even his wife, I think, knew about Kilgrave, because clearly Jessica knew his wife. So, it's interesting. I mean, if she knew his wife, I'm kind of thinking that was she the cause of Luke's wife's death? Is that why she is so upset and that's why she feels like she failed? Maybe she meant to save her and she didn't. I'm not really sure, but something is definitely going on with Luke's wife and we don't know what it is. So at the radio station, Hope tells her story about Kilgrave. Trish asks Hope to describe her experience. When Kilgrave says, "Wish her a happy birthday," it was the only thing that she wanted to say, and it was the last time she saw her parents until they came to rescue her. And Hope didn't know she was being controlled at first, but eventually would get a glimpse of her real self, but she wasn't strong enough to hold on to them. And when Kilgrave told her to shoot her parents, she fought as hard as she could not to. She didn't want to, but he made her do it. And Jerry takes the phone and rules Hope's story as a fully formed delusion. And here we get what was the first scene I ever saw of this show. They released a clip like back on Thursday of this scene, and right away I was into it, and it was even better when you know what's going on, you know? So she says she doesn't think she's telling the truth, but Trish sides with Hope, citing the Avengers and aliens coming down from the sky, which is true. I mean, if there are Avengers out there, Hope's story can very well be true, and that's something I like with this. I mean, Daredevil, they never really referenced, the Avengers, but here they are flat out referencing them, and I like that because it shows that, you know, if Hope can say that the Hulk, you know, Iron Man, if they can all be out there, then Hope's story could possibly be true, and Hope, you know, Jerry welcomes others who have had similar experiences to contact her, and Trish starts displaying how weak Kilgrave is for what he does, and Jessica storms in, she's telling her to shut up, that it's, you know, that it's terrible what she's doing, and cuts her off, and Trish obviously is really upset. She wants to continue and takes calls, and they argue for a moment before the next caller is Kilgrave, and that's exactly what Jessica was afraid of. She was worried that Trish was going to lure Kilgrave to them, and she doesn't want her to do that, because again, she doesn't want Trish hurt, and Hope hears it, gets extremely sad, and she knew that was going to happen. She knew that this would affect Hope if she called Kilgrave. She knew that Hope wanted nothing to do with her, you know, wanted nothing to do with Kilgrave. So he suggested insulting someone as powerful as Kilgrave would be stupid, and Hope starts screaming. He suggests she should be worried about making her kill herself, and it's just crazy stuff. I mean, not seeing Kilgrave in this episode is really good because, you know, we still get this one thing of Kilgrave, and it's still very powerful. I really love seeing that. So Trish and Jessica talk about Jerry's method of making Trish defend mind control, and the man grabs Trish from behind. She cripples him with 2 moves, but it turns out he was just a fan looking for an autograph. And the fact she just crippled him like that was pretty crazy. So Jessica parts ways with Trish at her apartment in search of the drugs, and obviously her main goal is to find these drugs. She wants to do whatever she can to find them, and she's going to do whatever she can. So she calls someone looking for information on Dr. Kurata, who seems like he's going to be much more important than we thought. I thought Dr. Kurata was just going to be like a one-time character, but this episode shows he's going to be much more important than that. She gets home and her door is fixed, but her key isn't working. I didn't think her door wasn't going to get fixed, but her door is fixed and her key isn't working, and she finds a note on the floor which reads, "Pay us, we give key." So she bursts through the door, leaves it open. The person on the phone tells her Dr. Kurata quit and gives her an address in India. So, obviously, she doesn't know what this means. Obviously, the address, and Malcolm is escorted out of the elevator by their neighbor. He won't walk on his own. He went to the neighbor's apartment by mistake and ate their peanut butter, and Robin hit him with a trophy. Malcolm stumbles into his apartment with the help of Jessica. The neighbor claims everyone's a little bit racist, and Jessica brings Malcolm through a hospital. He doesn't know why they're there, and Jessica seems like she's the first person to help him, and Jessica pushes him into a cart of medication, knocks over a nurse, and the doctors and guards flock to the scene. Jessica goes for the drugs. She finds what she needs and leaves. Malcolm looks at her on the way out, and he says that she's a good person, which is interesting that he said that, because I mean, there's some things that Jessica's done that have just been very questionable. Not bad, it's just she's done some things I think are very questionable. So, Trish's doorbell rings, the man is looking for her, and he wants to ask her about an alleged assault, and this character's name is a new character, Officer Will Simpson, who is a main character. He's just the only main character we haven't seen yet, and I was hoping we'd get introduced to him. We did in this episode. Now, he is a very interesting character. Don't really know what his motive is all about, and especially the ending of this episode, very interesting stuff. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with this character, but it's very interesting. So, he wants her to come inside, but she wants the ID. She wants to call her lawyer, but the cop suggests she talk now rather than get arrested and on the news. She opens the door with a baton drawn. The cop kicks the door in and knocks her over. She knocks his gun from his hands. The scuffle in her apartment. She crawls away from him saying, "You don't want to do this," and he says he does. He slams her on the ground before choking her. This was a really intense scene. I honestly thought they were going to kill off Trish here. And Jessica storms and tosses the cop over a table, tries to tend to Trish, and he says he has to kill her. He's waiting for, and that he is waiting for her. Now, he's waiting for me. What does that mean? Does this mean that this cop has connections to Kilgrave? I mean, it very well could be true. I don't know who else he could be. We know that Hope said the same thing. We know that Jessica referenced him as he. We know that Hope has referenced him as he. So, is he Kilgrave? Is that what we're thinking? Is Will being controlled by Kilgrave? So, he chokes Trish again, and Jessica punches him, sending him flying back in the bookcase, and Trish is unconscious, and the cop gathers himself, and Jessica says that he killed her. And the cop picks up his gun the way out, and Jessica pulls the needle from her, and she's completely unconscious. So, we're basically led to believe that Trish just got killed off, and I was really upset because Trish was a very good character, and I was really hoping they wouldn't kill her off, and we'll get into that. But Jessica runs after the cop, takes his gun, and says she doesn't want to shoot him, and he says that he doesn't want to shoot her, and it's not her time. So that's very interesting the way he said that it's not her time to die, and Jessica uses his phone to eavesdrop on where he is heading and follows him, and the officer slips into a building. She crosses the street. She obviously wants to go after him, because one, she knows he might have connections to Kilgrave, two, he probably just killed Trish. So rather than take the elevator, she takes the stairs. This was very interesting. I was wondering why not take the elevator. She takes the stairs, and she hears the cops say Trish Walker is dead. So Kilgrave asks if Jessica knows, and Kilgrave suggests a lot of people will know. His lunch is delivered, and he yells at the TV screen as he watches the soccer match. He tells the officer to leave, correcting his path, telling him to go off the balcony, killing himself, and Jessica follows him as he climbs to the ledge. She grabs him just in time, and Kilgrave and Jessica then make contact, and then we get a flashback here. Kilgrave orders Jessica to kill Luke's wife, which she does with a punch, shattering the bones in her chest, launching her about 25 feet, and Kilgrave orders Jessica to leave her be, and Jessica realizes what she's done, is upset about it, and yes, we now know that Jessica killed Luke's wife, and I thought that was incredible that we found that out, and Kilgrave follows her, yelling, "Get back here," and I think that's why Jessica feels she's failed, because that was the first thing she ever did as a superhero where she failed, and Jessica follows her, yelling, "Get back here," and the bus comes, and it's just a really crazy scene here. So, really crazy stuff. Back in the present, the cop tries to kill himself one more time because it didn't work the first time, and Jessica saves him, and when she turns back around, Kilgrave is gone. So, did she just imagine Kilgrave was there? Was he not actually there? A man attacks Jessica with a bat, saying she can't follow him. She puts him to sleep because she doesn't want to hurt him. And Jessica continues to search for Kilgrave. A man attacks from behind with a knife, but she dodges him. She tries to reason with the man, but he doesn't speak, only attacks. She kicks him against the wall, and he falls unconscious. And now a woman attacks Jessica, and Jessica apologizes before throwing her into a wall. She ties the door shut behind her, and this is only the, this isn't even the crazy stuff yet. She follows the noise of a printer and finds a room covered in photos of her, and after looking at the creepy room, she finds a picture of herself with "See you later" written on it, and that clearly is from Kilgrave, obviously. So she falls into a pile of trash with the cops. She tells them they jumped from the ledge just like Kilgrave told them to, and they survived. And she asks him if he took the pictures, but he didn't, and doesn't know who did. So he wants to know what happened and remembers killing Trish, and Jessica says that did not happen. So, is it true? Did he not kill Trish? Is Trish still alive? I mean, I'm not really sure. She's a main character, so I don't think they kill her off, but is Trish possibly dead? Did he actually kill her? If she did, I'm going to be really upset because that's a really stupid way for her to go out, and I hope she's not dead. But that's very interesting because she very well could be dead. I'm not really sure. Honestly, it's interesting. Did Will actually kill Trish? Because Jessica's saying he didn't, but I'm kind of like the possibility that he did and she's just lying to him so he feels like he didn't do something bad. I'm not really sure. I mean, Jessica could relate to him because she killed someone that she didn't want to, and now he's killed someone. I think that he definitely is working for Kilgrave. I really feel like Will has a connection to him, and I don't really know what it is yet. So Jessica knocks on Luke's door. He sees her cut and says, "Rough night." She tells him she did something before telling him he can't come in. And she just says that she can't come in ever. This isn't right. And Luke doesn't agree. And she starts making excuses. And Luke crosses his arms. And obviously she feels really bad because she can't be with Luke if she killed his wife. She just can't be with him because of that. So he says he can't handle a dead wife, and he says do what she has to do, and she's left standing in the hallway, and it's really sad because Luke doesn't understand what Jessica did. She doesn't understand that she really doesn't want to see him because she killed his wife. He doesn't understand this right now. So she leaves, walks down the street alone. She looks at the location where she was photographed, searches where the photo was taken from, and that's how the episode ends. And damn, what a great episode this was. Seriously, another amazing episode. So much interesting stuff in this episode. Just the fact that now we know what's going on with Jessica, that she killed Luke's wife, is very interesting. But why did Kilgrave want her to kill Luke's wife? Why specifically Luke's wife? What was it about her that intrigued Kilgrave? I'm not really sure. Let's talk about Will. Did Will actually kill Trish, or was this just something that Jessica nearly imagined? I mean, it's all possible. She saw Kilgrave and then he was gone after the flashback was over, so did he actually kill Trish? I don't really know. I'm assuming he did. I'm led to believe that he did. But again, that could just be the show fucking with us. That could just be the show saying, oh, no, he didn't kill Kilgrave. And that's very interesting if he didn't, because he very well couldn't. He very well might not have. So I'm not really sure if he did. We'll have to see. But that is very interesting. I'm interested in seeing if he really did kill Kilgrave or not. If he really did kill Trish or not. Who put up the photo of Jessica? Was it Kilgrave? I'm not really sure. What's going to happen now this photo is out there? We don't really know what's going to happen with that. That's definitely going to be very interesting. Luke and Jessica, I really hope that Jessica tells Luke about Kilgrave, because she has yet to tell him about Kilgrave. She doesn't tell him what's going on. He's the only person that doesn't know, and it makes sense, because obviously his wife was killed by Kilgrave, and if he knows, maybe what happened to her, he might start to wonder if she's the one that killed his wife, and I really feel she has to come clean to him, though, because they can't just have this awkward tension between each other. They can't. It's gonna feel weird. It's not the right thing to do. She needs to just tell him the truth, and I know it's hard for her, but she needs to do that. She needs to tell him, look, I killed your wife. I can't really talk to you right now. I feel very awkward, and I don't know how he'll react to it. He'll probably be really upset, but it's understandable if he reacts the way he does. I mean, honestly, he has a reason to react the way he does. So that definitely is going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. Let's talk about this whole situation with Hope. I mean, obviously, Jerry doesn't believe Hope, but Jessica's trying to tell him that it could be real. And obviously, Jerry knows about Jessica's connection to Kilgrave, and she still doesn't think it's true. So, is Jerry going to be faced, is Kilgrave going to confront Jerry? I'm not really sure. We'll have to see what happens. That definitely is going to be very interesting to see what happens there. I'm interested in seeing really what's going to happen with that, because that's overall very interesting stuff. I like that we're very slowly getting what's going on between Jessica and Kilgrave. We still don't know why Kilgrave went dark. What caused Kilgrave to do all these things? Why is he doing this stuff to Jessica? What is his motive? We still don't know, and I like that. Like I said, they're going to eventually reveal what he's doing, but we just haven't seen enough of him. We've seen that one scene, episode 2, and we haven't seen what he's done since then. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm definitely interested in seeing what they're going to do with him in episode 2, in episode 4, and for the rest of the season, that is, because it's going to be very interesting what happens with that. What's going on with Malcolm? Why is he just randomly going around town? Obviously, he has drug abuse problems. We're going to have to see what happens with that. I guess Jessica's plan is not happening, because obviously it went completely the wrong way she wanted to, so I don't think Jessica's plan is going to happen, unfortunately. I think she wanted it to, but it didn't go so well, so her plan is a bust. I'm assuming it's not happening. I don't see why she would, have this plan happen after what just happened. There's no reason for it to happen, and it probably would not go well if it happens, so I would not expect her to go through with this plan at all. I don't think she's going to. We'll have to see what happens with that, but that definitely is going to be very interesting to see what they do with that. What's going to happen with Kilgrave? Because obviously, like I said, he's out there. Like I said, what's his plan? We don't really know what it is yet, and we'll have to see what that's about. Does Luke know how his wife died? We don't know yet. We don't know if Luke knows how his wife died, and I didn't think we were going to find out who that was, but then we found out in this episode, and I like that. But I feel like there's more to it in Luke Cage that we're not getting at yet, so we'll have to see what happens there. I thought they were saving it for Luke Cage, but obviously they weren't. There was definitely a lot more to it than I thought, and I really like that. I like that the show is going in a more surprising direction. They really know how to do twists very, very well, I have to say. All the twists have been genuinely shocking, and I really do like, and I think they're handling them all very, very well. Definitely really loving all the twists. Really good stuff overall. And yeah, guys, I'm really loving this show, if you guys can't tell. I think every episode so far has been great. This episode is by far the best of the 3. I absolutely loved it. There was great comedy in here. The stuff between Jessica and Luke was just great. I really do love it. Obviously, they have a very complicated relationship. You can tell why Jessica doesn't really want an attachment to him, because clearly, she killed his wife, and he doesn't know about it, and if he finds out, it's going to be really bad for them. So, very interesting stuff here. I don't really know what's going to happen in the rest of this season, and I like that. I don't want to know what's going to happen from here on out, and I think it's good the way they're handling that. I definitely really do like that. But let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I absolutely love this episode. What do you think of this show in general? I'm really loving it, I have to say. But like I said, this was by far my favorite of the 3 so far. I can't wait to watch episode 4, which I'll probably do tonight. I'll probably do, I'm going to watch the Vampire Diaries next, so I'll see you guys for that. I will be watching the Vampire Diaries. But let me know what you guys saw this episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for the Vampire Diaries, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.